Good day, everyone. So it's really rare that we actually link community posts that I do to an actual video. Normally, I try to keep the two separate, but I think this one will be quite interesting to discuss. So obviously, in the latest one, we said if Hoyoverse has improved their wishing system, yeah, their competition will be taking their money instead. And I obviously wrote them like a reply here, and I can tell you the comments have been completely funny. A lot of people said I agree, and a lot of people said they disagree. A lot of people started doing these in-depth psychological analysis. There are some people that have said, I've seen your, I think there's like a quite a little funny one that I read here. I've seen your post on my timeline for several times already. Every time you make hot takes, but people disagree, you end up calling them out and shaming them instead of, having actual arguments. Maybe you're the one that needs improving. The funny thing about stuff like this, for instance, for me is I can literally copy paste this, go into Tectone, MTAS, just like channel, and literally paste it there, and it'll mean exactly the same, nothing. So what we'll do today is we'll actually do a bit of arguments, since people actually so quibbly want it. And I think what'll be interesting is to sort of look actually at this community posts in a bit of detail. Because I think a lot of people missed what was said here, and there was only one comment that sort of said, "Ooh, the base probability of 1.2%, that's too high." I can't see, I don't know if we can actually find it here. It'll probably be like lost in the sea of all these comments. But someone here said, "You're like literally tripling the probability." Oh, yeah, here it is. A constant base probability. Are you asking them to triple it? And let's just discuss this base probability because I think a lot of people miss this. So obviously, my name will be blurred out in the Excel spreadsheet, so you won't be able to see what's on here. But this is in essence how the game's probabilities work, and this is something we've also covered on the channel in quite a bit of detail in the past. So in essence, you get a base probability, you have a couple of normal chances to pull, and then right here at 90 you have 100% guarantee. And you can see there's the one formula, and obviously here is the next formula. I sort of just take the difference between these purple chances, and if you do a quick sum product of the differences and number of summons, you get the expected number of pulls. Now obviously what MiHoYo has done, or Hoyoverse has done, is instead they linearly sort of increase your chances to win the higher and higher up you go. A lot of people call this soft pity, and for more details you can just look here on the statistical model for Genshin Impact's drop rate. So you can see there is the pull probability that Hoyoverse gives you, in essence, like increases here from about 72 pulls onwards, and in essence it makes you very, very likely to get a 5-star character between 70 to 80 pulls. So this is just how the distributions and probabilities works. That's sort of what these guys have uncovered. So obviously this Excel model is not entirely correct, but if you work on the consolidated probability, you will find it is correct, and this is the actual expected number of pulls that you can sort of get in the game. It'll be about 62.5. So if you go back into the game, into Genshin Impact, you always have to get the 50 pack, or what I'm calling the 50 pack, like the 50 wishes, the $100 pack. Plus, you also then need to get like some additional pack. You need to buy one of the additional packs in order for you to just be statistically or like on average, get your 5-star character, and then you still aren't guaranteed to get what you want. There's a 50% chance, and then obviously there is the guarantee for the next time you pull it, etc. Blah blah blah. So the whole point is, what happens now if I've got a 0.6 base probability and I push this up to 1.2? What do you guys think will happen to the expected number of pulls? Is it actually going to triple? Is it going to half? Let's find out. Oh, it just decreased by 14. So tripling the or doubling the probability in this case only decreased the expected number of pulls by about 14. And you might say, well, you're bad at maths, and well, to that I'll tell you, let's do some simulations. And yes, I've got vanilla here from Necopara. It's an absolutely wholesome game. Please don't take that bait. So yeah, you can see we've written a function here in Python. I just wrote this very quickly. You can see we'll just simulate with a pull rate of 0.01. We're just going to click the main button, do about 10 million simulations, and this should pretty much just pop up right about now. And there we go. You can see you can see there's the sort of simulated result. The average pull for a 5-star character, including that sort of guarantee, is 55.21. That is precisely what we had in Excel. And here you can see sort of the chart. Yes, due to the geometric nature of the pulls, it's actually quite odd. You get most of your pulls, if you're going to get back-to-back pulls, they're more likely to happen right in the beginning than later on. That's just sort of how maths works. But yes, this does sort of confirm the value that you can see here in Excel. So yes, I can do the maths, and you can also repeat this maths. All of this is readily available. So yeah, under my suggestion, you don't have a 50-50, which is a good thing. You have 14 less pulls on average to get your desired character. And if you do get that character early, you will still get your desired character at the 90th pull. So basically, in the worst case scenario, you want 7 copies. So how many packs is gonna take to get 7 copies? Well, let's just do some very basic maths. 7 times 90, this will be absolutely the worst case. And for you to get this, you will need to, assuming you're going to pay for like 50 Primo Gems, assuming you get like 50 wishes and so on, you will in essence spend at most $1,200 in the worst case scenario. This is quite a lot better than the current worst case scenario, which can literally cost you about $2,000 plus. So in this case, it is actually pretty nice. It's a lot better. It actually evens this out quite a bit, and then you also have money to save if you're a whale. Now, for instance, on the weapon banner as well. So this definitely gives you a lot better odds, but I've also got good news here. You've got pretty much a 50% chance before 58 pulls to actually get your desired character, and then you will still have it here at 90. So this is a much better design, it's a much easier design. And working on the averages here, you will in essence buy let's say the $100 pack, and what will happen is you also get like a couple of refunds. Typically it's in the order of about 10% of the wishes you spend. You get refunds in terms of, I think, the Starglitz or Master Starglitz or whatever. So this works out very nicely. So it's not without reason that I put in the value 1.2. So when a lot of people are here in YouTube and they tell me you don't have an argument, it's like, well, you guys have done no analysis on even this suggestion, other than to say, oh yeah, there are other games out there that have worse odds. But I've got to burst your bubble a bit here. When you compare games, you've got to compare like for like. You've got to have comparable benchmarks. So if you're going to pull a game like Ark Knights, or I think FGO, or some of those other gacha games, they're not the same. Genshin Impact is an action RPG game. The game mechanics and what you get for wishing is totally different than what you get in those games. I do not think those games with the worst rate, or worst rates that are worse than Genshin, are actually comparable. I think they're a very bad benchmark, and that's why games like Tower of Fantasy are much more comparable. That there's a reason why people have said, well, this could be the Genshin competition potentially, and that's because people have recognized that this is a more suitable benchmark for the type of product that Genshin delivers. So a lot of these arguments about, oh, it could have been worse, is kind of pointless, and I don't think people really critically think about this. So yeah, if you do like my better odds of this sort of thing, let me know down below. I'd really much appreciate it. And then finally, here is the whale argument for why Hoyoverse's current system is kind of bad. So I'm going to take you guys in game, and what I want you to do is to just count with me. And this will be very interesting. So here you can see Yae Miko. This is my C6 Yae Miko, the final one. So 6, 12, 18, 24, yes, you saw that right, 30, 31. So in case it wasn't clear, we got 3 Yae Mikos and a Mona within 31 pulls. Now, you'd be very happy if you got this result, but for me, it highlights something that's very problematic in Genshin. As someone that's got a lot of C6 R5 characters, the fact that I've got someone like Yai Miko that I've literally spent $700 less on than someone like Shenhe to C6 Shenhe is absolutely mind blowing. So for almost like the same product, I've in essence like I don't know how to explain it. It's like the difference in amount is just it just doesn't make any sense. And the reason why all of this happened, why I spent so much more on Shen is because I lost the 50-50. And this is exactly what my key argument and recommendation is. If even if you just get rid of the 50-50, immediately your gaming experience is a lot better. The problem, there are obviously some problems in terms of topping up and like bankings and issues and stuff like that that I won't go into, but one of my big pet peeves is that Genshin does not allow you to purchase more than $100 in terms of wishes as a given moment, and that can be very problematic in its own right. Now, the other problem that I've got here, aside from just a whaling perspective and the fact that it's ludicrous that you pay different price for different products, is the fact that when I make videos on this channel and I showcase, let's say, Kokomi to you, you might be very excited. Kokomi's rerun is here. You've saved up quite a lot in terms of in-game wishes, not money. You're not as an F2P. So as an F2P, with all this time invested, with all this money, with all the hype that I've generated, and I've seen this in the comments that people have said, thank you for helping me decide on Kokomi. With all this hype, you go, you play this game, you do these stupid pulls, and what happens? You lose the 50-50 and you get a Chi-Chi. It is absolutely heartbreaking. Nothing is more heartbreaking for me than seeing someone in my comment section tell me, I did not get Kokomi this time, I lost the 50-50. It almost feels like I want to give this person like the wishes and tell them, go again, go and get your Kokomi. And this is what's so frustrating. People think that this sort of gambling high in terms of, oh, I won the 50-50 and all this nonsense is good. Like, I can promise you that is just BS. It's just like the worst thing ever. Like, even this entire thing of pull is just absolutely garbage. You guys want to know how I do my pulls? Let me show you how I do my pulls. This is exactly how I do my pulls. Absolutely I just skip instantly. I just skip straight away. I don't care whether it's a green light, a blue light, a purple. None of that matters. All I want is to get out of this place and get to my character and start playing and making content immediately. So there's nothing more frustrating than having your time wasted. And that's why this system ultimately also needs a big rework. And if the guys aren't going to do it, well, the guys over at Tower of Fantasy, you know, they're kind of looking very attractive. Although the morality of how Tower of Fantasy has developed their game is certainly a bit questionable, but that is definitely something worth talking about in another video. Thanks for watching. Cheers.